Commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on the Hour with me, Sabena Izuku. President Goodluck Jonathan has assured delegates to the National Conference of his readiness to implement the final report. He made the pledge shortly after receiving resolutions on the conference in Abuja. President Goodluck Jonathan described the conference as a success, adding that the delegates were proved wrong.
This is the culmination of a 4-month-long deliberation by 492 delegates. An elated President Jonathan received the 3-volume final report of the conference and proceeded to declare that doubters had been proved wrong.
Those who dismiss the entire conference ab initio as a diversion have been proved wrong, as for what you achieved has, contrary to their focus, diverted our country only from the wrong path to the right direction.
The report consists of over 600 resolutions and has about 10,000 pages, but the president did not shy away from giving his words on implementation.
The discourse reflected our latest challenges. We will send the relevant aspects of the recommendations to the Council of State and of course the National Assembly that are even with me here, because both arms of government will work together to make sure that this report is transformed into our laws.
Earlier, Conference Chairman Idris Kutugi delivered some insights into how the delegates disagreed on a number of issues before arriving at a consensus. He also maintained that President Jonathan neither interfered nor provided any input into the final outcome of the conference.
Let me state here categorically, and with the fear of Almighty Allah in my heart, that not once did you interfere or dictate to us. The only time we tried to consult the president during the conflict over voting percentages at the very beginning of the conference, we were told that the issue was the one for us to resolve. At no time after that did you meet us or speak to us.
For many of the delegates, the conference ended on a good note. And for government officials, it is another proof of sincerity.
This is amazing, amazing story of how a nation, the resilience of a people can deliver a nation in terms of difficulties. It's only in Nigeria that a conference will start with so much anxiety and doubt and yet end up in consensus. It tells people clearly that this nation has come to stay, and those prophets of doom that continue to pick on every item of disagreement in Nigeria as a prophecy for its fall will continue to be surprised.
It may indeed be an opportunity for government to celebrate, but many Nigerians are also eagerly looking forward to see how the report will be part of Nigeria's body of laws.
News has just reached us that Nigeria records 2 new Ebola cases. We'll bring you more on that in a subsequent bulletin. Many of the delegates to the National Conference are convinced that the outcome of the 4 months deliberation will pave way for a better country. This was the consensus of the delegates.
The recommendation of this conference will give birth to a new Nigeria. A Nigeria that you can be proud of. A Nigeria that will be practiced based on true federalism, not a federal system of government that we call ourselves and we are running a unitary system of government. We have to congratulate ourselves for agreeing on 600 and something issues based on recommendation. I think God is with us in this conference. Initially, I did not believe that we can gone to this extent. I thought because of some of the contentious issues, we may not end this conference to this stage. But we have to thank God for giving us this opportunity. I'm happy, I'm highly delighted that we end the conference. We agree with ourselves. We reach a compromise to the extent we did not vote on any issue till we end the conference.
Well, the landmark resolutions of the conference really have to do with the resolutions that border on policy issues, not necessarily the constitutional amendments. And I believe that if government adopts some of these resolutions, it will go a long way in solving some of the myriad of problems that this country has been bedeviled with.
For me, I think every Nigerian has a reason to celebrate. When the conference was inaugurated, little did we know that we are going to achieve this landmark achievement. And you can see from the faces of the delegates, the faces of people in government, everybody is happy. And I want to say that I'm proud to be a Nigerian because we have proven to the world that we can disagree to agree. We have proven to the world that once we put our nation first, every other thing is possible. And I hope that the spirit of oneness that we have witnessed here, the spirit of patriotism that we have witnessed here, the spirit of love that we have witnessed here will go a long way in moving this country forward to its destined greatness.
There was a bomb scare on Thursday in Yanya, a suburb of Abuja, that had twice this year recorded bomb attacks. The apprehension was caused by an abandoned vehicle in the middle of the road, but it later turned out that it was a vehicle that broke down along the highway. The police later confirmed that what residents described as explosive device were actually welding materials. Northern Nigeria's Riot Police Training Academy has been overrun by Boko Haram militants. Shots were heard after the militants arrived in 3 armored vehicles and on dozens of motorcycles. The police spokesman confirmed the attack, while a senior security source says it had not been possible to communicate with the academy since Wednesday. The Lema Kara College is near Gwaza town, seized by Boko Haram last week. Thousands have been killed across northern eastern Nigeria since Boko Haram launched its violent campaign for an Islamic State in 2009. The militants have stepped up the attacks after being pushed out of the bases of Maiduguri, the capital of Oyo State. The recent weeks, militants have been moving from the rural camps and taking over substantial towns. The militants have been in control of Gwaza, which had a population of about 50,000 since the beginning of August. The August 9 governorship election in Osun State may have come and gone, but events during the period are still playing out. One of these is the arraignment of a suspect, Victor Aladegolu, who over impersonation as an officer of the Nigerian Police Force and Department of State Security Services in Ile-Ife. Rashid completes the rest of the story.
The 22-year-old Victor Aladegolu was paraded before presiding magistrate Fashola on a 2-count charge of impersonating official of the Department of State Security and the police on one hand, and adorning the attire of the said security agencies on the other. He pleaded not guilty to the charges as one of the prosecuting counsels, Abiodun Olaide, made a graphical description of their alleged crimes.
Somebody wearing a uniform, police mark in front, DSS mark at the back. That will give you a signal that this is not a police officer. So when you see people like that, the court has the discretion to either grant bail or reserve it. Even if the bail is argued today, the court can still reserve its ruling. But what the court simply said is that they should go and file bail application formal, so that it will be argued on merit.
Magistrate Aluko ordered the suspect to be remanded in prison custody pending bail application from the defense counsel. One of the prosecuting counsels, Abiodun Alaide, speaks on the development as all efforts to speak with the defense counsel proves abortive.
If many of such people are in turn, the public is endangered. If you cannot identify who are the genuine security agents. So that's why we are shouting before the election, we don't want masked security men. And if you listen to Jegad this morning, yesterday, he also condemned the use of masked security men for election. It is dangerous.
The case was, however, adjourned till the 12th of September. Rashid, CoreTV News. The Osun State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Sunday Akiri, says all the progressive campaigns will take over at the center after 2015 general election. The commissioner, who visited CoreTV News, hangs his confidence on August 9th Osun governorship election won by the APC.
The outcome of the August 9 election in Osun has assured us that yes, genuinely democracy will thrive in Nigeria, and that the APC is still the party of the people of the Southwest. One thing we know that our leadership will do is to mend whatever fences might be existing in Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, so that we will, as usual, record the maximum votes in these states in the Southwest. As for other states in Nigeria, I know that the victory of Fashola and the APC on the 9th of August in Osun is enough encouragement for them to know that yes, they can do it and they will do it too. And APC will be the party at the center in Abuja come February 2015.
He added that the Fashola administration will build on its success and appeal to promote good governance and provide the needed democratic dividends for the people of Osun State.
Osun of our dream, the new Osun, with the land flowing with milk and honey, is here for a stay, and we pray that God, all of us, will make us partakers of the blessings.
Nigeria's main opposition party, the All Progressive Congress, have been making final arrangements for its presidential primaries. This is because it will be expecting about 300,000 delegates at the elective convention. The APC spokesman Lai Mohammed disclosed this at the end of the party's National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja.
We obviously, definitely would not adopt a delegate, convention, because delegates convention talk about probably about 6,000, 7,000 delegates. What we're thinking about, I think, would include almost 300,000 people. If we get acts very right, because what we are thinking about today, Adama and everybody. Adama, you see, no. You see, for presidential election, we don't how many members do we have in the state? But you see, for a presidential election, what we are thinking about is making sure that all elected officers from the ward level, local government level, state level, national ESCO, the caucus, the BOT, all elected officials on part of the party, council chairman, councillors, House of Assembly members, National Assembly members are all eligible to participate in the choice of who's going to be the flag bearer.
The federal government says 200 million naira approved for Lagos State to support the Ebola containment is not part of 1.9 billion naira earlier released to the Federal Ministry of Health. Health Minister Oyo State made the clarification in a statement issued in Abuja. He noted that the amount is a distinct and direct federal government support to the state and does not preclude all the assistance that may be rendered by the ministry. Meanwhile, Nigeria's health authorities have been receiving financial and logistic support from the private sector in the bid to stem the spread of Ebola virus, aside from Aluko Dangote Foundation donations of 152 million naira. Tony Elumelu's foundation has made a pledge of 50 million naira. Shell has also donated an ambulance to the Ebola Emergency Operations Center in Lagos, while Atedo Peterside has assured the authorities that the foundation will support affected private hospitals to the tune of 100,000 naira per bed space. Ekiti State Commissioner for Health, Fashola has warned health workers against spreading panic message about the Ebola virus disease. He lamented that the panic message had led to the death of non-Ebola patients in the state. He says the health workers from Osun, Ekiti, who had come to the state capital for an official assignment, slumped and later died because he did not receive medical attention. He spoke of how 4 different private hospitals rejected the patient due to SMS message allegedly sent by some doctors, suggesting that it was an Ebola case. The commissioner recalled that similar misinformation recently caused row at the National Youth Service Corps camp in the state, when a young corps member collapsed and the healthcare givers ran away on suspicion that he was an Ebola victim. He recalled that it took the intervention of his ministry to save the corps member from avoidable death after he was left unattended for about 9 hours. The Ogun State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Segun Odumbela, says the state government has postponed the resumption date for all primary and secondary schools in the state earlier scheduled for September 15, 2014, to a date to be announced later. He says this was in response to the Federal Ministry of Education directive that schools in the country should put resumption for 2014-2015 on hold in order to curb the spread of the deadly Ebola virus disease. Odubela urged parents and guardians to take proper care of the children and wards by monitoring their movement and engaging them in academic activities. The federal government is set to move against what it described as modern forms of slavery in the country. Minister of Tourism and Culture, Edem Duke, lamented that centuries after slave trade, modern slavery is taking root in Nigeria. Duke said this during the 20th anniversary of the Slave Route project. The minister was represented at the event by the Permanent Secretary in the ministry, Nkechi Ejile.
Today, we're experiencing different forms of modern-day slavery, amongst which are child abuse, human trafficking, illegal trade in babies. But you may wish to know that the federal government considers the sale of babies as gross violation of human rights and is making effort to stop it. I wish to emphasize the federal government's unalloyed commitment to elimination of these heinous crimes.
Market men and women in Abuja on Thursday held a peaceful protest to register their displeasure over what they described as multiple taxation. The traders who were keen to express their grievances shunned the early morning rainfall to march on the headquarters of Abuja Municipal Area Council headquarters. Speaking to journalists, the market leaders maintained that all efforts to meet with the council officials were not successful, but the council leadership insists that they were not aware of the development.
This so-called taxation will come, chant them on the same heading, in several locations, with their little capital. And when they are coming, they come with heavily armed personnel, security forces. Thereby, if they refuse to pay, they are subject to several different kinds of abuses. So because of that, we've made an attempt, to see AMAC and Federal Revenue Service, inviting them to a forum to address the price of these women. We call the market room also to the forum. The forum was held in Yanya, where you had the super participant for market and all that. During the forum, Federal Revenue Service sent 2 representatives. AMAC did not send any representative.
We have a consultant that is meant for collecting of the tax. Okay, I will agree with you because I'm receiving so many calls and so many complaints. Okay, but I don't attend to any complaint without any receipts. Okay, I can verify based on the receipts. Okay. When I get the receipt, I will know, yes, this one is from AMAC and this one is not from AMAC. Okay. From there, we can withhold those that are fraud among them. Okay. So please, you can bear with us. Okay. You should write your complaint again, okay, just as a reminder, and attach the receipts. Okay.
The group was dispersed with assurance that the matter will be resolved. The Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola says taxation remains the only viable option at ensuring development in the face of dwindling oil revenue in the country. Fashola made this known while flagging off the economic empowerment program for the residents of the state. Abiola Oluwole was there and his report is presented from our studio.
Lagos, no doubt, is the most populated city in West Africa. This way of providing employment for the teeming population, the state has over the years ensured vocational training for residents. Speaking at the flag-off of the empowerment program, Fashola says lack of stable electricity is bane of economic development in the country. Nigeria, according to him, should also devise ways of halting the overdependence on oil revenue.
This is the only way we can really build a society. Whether you like it or not, this country cannot continue to depend on oil. Oil is a diminishing asset. One day it will finish. Even the states who are collecting derivation, 13% derivation, you will see them now thinking and looking for a day beyond oil. Some others are just collecting the thing as if it will never finish. When it finishes, market will close.
Deputy Governor Adejoke Orelope Adefilure says the expansion of the economic empowerment programs is in line with poverty elevation strategy of the state government.
This one, because of the exigencies of their work, some retirees, some grassroots women who are unable to stay too long because the minimum of the skill center is 6 months. So you can learn a trade for 6 to 8 weeks using your hands. So that the issue of I'm an housewife, I can't render any service to my husband, I can't help my children to school, I can't take good care of myself, will be a thing of the past.
Registration for the first phase of the program, expected to train 10,000 residents, begins on the 25th of August. Centers for the empowerment training are located in all the local government areas of the state.
After the break, FrancoisHollande has condemned what he says is the barbarity of the killers of the American journalist James Foley. Find out more after the break.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
All new on Bodyworks.
Welcome to Bodyworks, the fitness, wellness, and lifestyle show.
It's often difficult to believe.
Infertility is a condition that can actually be cured.
When you say cured, I actually find that very difficult to believe. I'm sorry.
Being an autistic child doesn't necessarily reduce your lifespan.
Let's kind of start with gonorrhea.
They call it gono.
Gono.
There's something we call plaque and calculus. Plaque is a soft teleneous material that adheres to the surface of the teeth.
And it could be life-threatening.
Most children who have enuresis and bedwetting, about 8 out of 10, I can tell you, will have the disease. It's called juvenile diabetes.
There are a lot of diet pills out there. And
there's no weight loss pill in a bottle. Point blank.
Are you saying that it's okay to bleach?
Depends on how you do it.
And then,
when the fibroid does not disturb the woman, we don't disturb the fibroid.
Well, that's been our show.
Showing every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Bodyworks. Live right, be fit, and live well.
Welcome back. French President FrancoisHollande has condemned what he says is the barbarity of the killers of the American journalist James Foley, which according to him went as far as putting the video of his beheading on the internet. Hollande says he shares the grief of the relatives and friends of Foley, calling on all people of goodwill across the world to come together to fight the group called Islamic State. He proposed an international conference for all countries to have a common front and strategy to fight the group, which he says is important to prevent the emergence of other equally violent groups. And that's it on the news on the hour. Please do join me at the top of the hour for more. I am Sabena Izogu, and thank you very much indeed for watching.